Tree.
Okay.
Okay, so the bottom line this week is a lot of unanswered questions.
Yeah, there are still a lot of unanswered questions. I think that you got to give a lot of credit to Isabel Haynes and Anna Acevedo, because the process wouldn't have occurred without them.
No.
And I do think that there will be that there will be recommendations that will
sure
come out
there will, but would it stay on the shelf?
Well, and that's what I think. That's where the Coroner's Act needing to be updated comes in, right? Without that, without there being a binding, any reasons for these recommendations to be binding, to me it seems like the whole process lacks a little credibility.
How about, prediction for next week? What do you think? Might be more interesting than this week, that's for damn sure.
I mean, it's hard to tell, because you can't tell who's going to be here from day to day, but we do know.
The secrecy, isn't that? It's fascinating.
I don't know, maybe maybe that happens with Inquest, right? I don't know, but I think that the thing that will be interesting to hear the people that were involved in the ownership of the vehicle. I don't know who else we're going to hear from. I would, there was a mention today of I don't know if it was a female basketball student from Bathurst High School maybe, or there was a mention of another athlete that the van in question was used the preceding night, and that there may have been some sort of problem with it, that a part of it may have fallen off or something, A lot of the stuff I don't know quite what to make of things. When I look at the series of, there's two ways to look at it. One is that when I look at the van, and today we were hearing that there was a fairly lengthy list of repairs that had to be made to that vehicle. And it's an older vehicle with lots of kilometers on it.
All kinds.
There's a part. My gut instinct is to think, well, that maybe it was past its time, right?
Oh yes.
On the other hand, I guess there's a way that somebody could look at it and could say that all of those repairs, the fact that all those repairs were being done, shows that, to a point at least, that the people that were the caretakers were trying to be vigilant, right? I know what my gut feeling is, and my gut feeling is that it was an older vehicle, and I have a 10-year-old son, and
right.
like last night, I was thinking.
I gotta ask you one question, very fast. Sorry.
That's okay.
Just very fast. Don't want to put you on the spot. I have to answer. But you did write. We talked about this earlier this week, that you said it was an accident.
Yeah.
You still, after hearing the first week, you still say it was an accident?
Well, I think that I've used the word tragedy and I've used the word crash in the stories too, and I think it's the phrase. I'm using the term accident generically, rather than saying that nobody was responsible, because that's what I was just telling Mrs. Acevedo. We were talking about that. Is that there's no disrespect or anything intended at all, at all by that.
No.
But I've had over the years, I've had I've been driving 20+ years. I've had 4 or 5 accidents.
Me too.
A couple of them were other people's fault, were the other person's fault. A couple of them were my fault. But I still call them accidents, even though I was responsible sometimes, right? Or probably more likely my insurance company ended up being responsible. So I'm not, I do understand the difference between, you can have an accident but there's still responsibility. You know, that we have car accidents all the time.
Mm-hmm.
We call it an accident, but it's still somebody's fault.
Yeah.
Right? So, you know, when it comes to, and then the other thing I said to you earlier in the week is when it comes to intent, you know, I don't, there's nothing that I've heard this week that would make me think that anybody intended for the tragedy to happen.
There's no
right?
question about it.
But was there confusion, and were there things that should have been done better? That
hindsight.
That led to this to the tragedy occurring. Yeah, I think that there were, right? You know, and I think that it's up to the jury to do it. I don't, when it comes to the inquest, this is the first one I've ever been to, so I find it really interesting to listen to people. I thought, like today, the mechanic.
Yeah.
The mechanic. I thought that the mechanic.
He don't remember.
Yeah, they don't remember.
And there's a big sign, Fathom Batters, Batterstein, whatever.
I think that, but I think that most people, I think that people want to get to the bottom of it, and I think people are generally are being honest, right?
But there's still that question mark, Marty.
Oh yeah, and you know what? The sad thing is, Charles, is that afterwards, some things will be clear, but there will still be question marks. And after everything that everybody knows, I guess the best we can that people can hope from the recommendations is that
the government will react.
That the government will react
and change the system.
And the system will be changed, and steps will be taken to prevent something like that from ever happening again. But so those steps can be taken. But will something like that never happen again? Probably not. It probably will, because it's the kind of crazy random nature of things that happen, right?
Yeah.
I know that way before this there was a terrible accident. I can't remember.
You got 20 seconds.
Well, it's just more that the random nature and things that happened. I mean, can even if every recommendation that everybody could ever make, could it keep something terrible like that from happening? Probably not.
Marty,
something could happen.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
And we'll try that again next Friday.
Yeah. Okay.
You have a safe weekend.
I will.